It's another original BW Sports 1 production.
Pew pew!
What is going on, everybody? This is your man's TheOne, and this is what is this? This is the Dukes of Football. Hey, everybody, how's it going? You know, it's Wednesday, December the 6th of the year 2023. Just in case this gets found in some abandoned computer in a cave 2,000 years from now, they will know who TheOne was. That is ridiculous. But what is going on? Glad to see that you have ventured out this evening to allow me to occupy your free space in your day for a moment to chit chat a bit about a little thing we call football. American style football. You know, we got to do our own thing. But what an exciting week we've had in football with professional and also non-professional and all of those things. Hello there, mother. But yeah, so it's been a great week in football. A lot of stuff going on in this week of football. What else has been going on? Let's see. Good week here for TheOne. Let's see. My boy, I know I told you guys last week that he was competing in a travel team type thing where he was representing Indiana in a regional style football tournament. Regionals, like if we won these couple games, we're going to get to go down to Naples. But they fell a little short. They had to win all three games to make it down there. We went 2-1. Had a good showing day one against Wisconsin. The boys look well. And then we didn't fare so well against Kentucky, where I found out seems to be our nemesis in the FBU program. So they fell to them in that game, but then they rallied very well and came back and won the third game against a Missouri-Kansas mix of teams. I think it was MoKan, right? A Missouri-Kansas mix of kids on the team. So it was fun to watch those young men compete. Let's see. But, you know, we got to learn a lot of things. My boy got to play in the backfield. No, they didn't let him run the ball. They just used him as a blocker. I think he did well. So, but it was fun, you know, getting see a little bit more football in the youth level over the past couple of days. So we're going to take a break for a little bit, and then we're going to get back to work here in a couple weeks to getting ready for next year. So that was exciting. We got to play around. I got to swing the golf clubs a little bit at Top Golf this week. That was fun. I did hit the net this time. I hit the net, but the good thing was I didn't hit it, good and bad. I didn't hit it with the driver. Didn't because for some reason I couldn't get the loft. But I was having a little trouble with my hips over the last couple of days, so I couldn't get into it and get the loft. But I used my the 4-iron, and I was able to get underneath it, and I got good distance, and I hit the net with the 4. So that was pretty cool. What was the 7? I think it was the 4. Yeah, it was the 4. But anyway, so that was fun. And then what else? Pretty much nothing. Oh, I tried out some new stuff in the kitchen the past couple days. Some things that we haven't done before. Because, yesterday was Taco Tuesday, or like we like to call it Hispanic Tuesday. Because we want to expand a little bit on because I can't just eat tacos every Tuesday. So that's hilarious, Mr. Buzzard. But listen, I am going to get out there a little bit more. So now that I have a little more mobility in the foot, it's not as sexy looking foot as I want it to be, but I get a little bit more mobility moving around. So I'm hit the golf course a lot more this upcoming summer. So expect me to do videos for me doing terrible things. Let's see what else. What were we talking about? I don't know. I don't remember. So I guess that means we should probably get into it. Oh no, I was talking about new dishes. So on Tuesdays, you can't just eat tacos every Tuesday. You know what I mean? So we try to do variations. So I want to do something different. So it's rainy and all cold and dreary here in Indiana at the beginning of December. So I decided that I wanted to stick with the theme that I've been using all weekend with soups. Soup style things. But question, is chili a soup? What do you think about that? I'll Google it and I'll have an answer for you next week. But I also made venison chili over the weekend. That was outstanding. But I made this I can't pronounce it in Hispanic, well, I'm just tearing this all up. I can't pronounce it in Spanish, so I'm just going to tell you what the American translation was. It was basically Mexican meatball soup. So it was pretty delicious. It had fresh mint, oregano, cilantro, what else I put in there? Some other good stuff. So it was pretty tasty. So I recommend you try new things. So that was my new thing. It's actually going to be, I think we're going to use that more. Wife got mad at me because she thought I should have used the rest of the soup should have strained and used the broth to make a soup for something else, but I wasn't thinking. I thought the critters outside might like the rest of it. And no, I wouldn't throw it away. It's just we out on meatballs. It had zucchini in it too. Zucchini was in it. But it was good. So I guess it's time to stop rambling. You guys came here to hear me talk about football, so I guess it's time to get to football. I got chili is a soup as long as it doesn't have noodles in it. Well, if it has noodles in it, it is no longer chili. It is chili mac. We have had this discussion several times over many different airwaves, and I'm steadfast, and I'm not changing my decision. Just because you call it chili and put noodles in it doesn't make it chili. Just like me identifying as a single white female, it doesn't mean that it's true. But anyway, that's a road that I dare not travel any longer. So we're going to get into some football, man. What an exciting week of football. We don't have any high school football to talk about this week because obviously their state run is over. We've already congratulated the winners. So we're going to move on to more pressing matters. I'm going to talk about the NFL at some point in time, but right now it's not NFL time. The NFL is heating up. We're going to talk about the NFL. I'm probably just going to give you games, but the conversation is not with the NFL right now. The conversation is with the NCAA, and you guys know that. So, I mean, I guess we ought to just go ahead and freaking talk about it. If I can make this move. All right, there we go. So we'll just go ahead and jump into the NCAA this first. So as you know, we had our conference championship games last week where you had the Power 5 conferences. The ACC, their game was Florida State. Louisville, which we'll talk about here in a minute. So you had their game was Florida State and Louisville. And then you had the SEC game, which you had Georgia and Alabama. The holy grail of football, college football, apparently, that You just can't do anything but allow SEC or Alabama in. But we'll talk about that shortly as well. So you had the Pac-12, who started it all off on Friday night. You had the Pac-12 with Washington and Oregon. Game didn't turn out how most people thought it was going to be. And then you had the Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma State. And then you had the Big 10 with Michigan and Iowa. So all the controversy you've been hearing all week, about the college football playoff. For one, it's ridiculous. I agree with Greeny on ESPN when he talks about, this is the only football league only sports league of any sort where they select who they think is the top four or the best teams that should compete for a championship other than it being played on the field. So that's the point there. But the controversy, so you had Florida State, who was down to, for that particular game, was down to their third-string quarterback. First-string quarterback, a starting quarterback, Heisman wishful, Travis. I don't know what had a brain fart. Travis, he goes out with a devastating leg injury, done for the season. And then their backup, who is who we don't know is not playing up until game time. He's out with a concussion protocol. So you're on your third string true freshman quarterback. Win the game. So, team sport, team game. Next man up mentality. They talk about it all the time. Next man up mentality. This is a championship program. It's a plug and field, right? So why does it not be a plug and field when Florida State did everything that they were supposed to do as a Power 5 conference champion? Now, yes, I understand there's 4 spots, 5 power conferences. Somebody's going to be left out. Correct. Yeah, most years that makes the conversation very difficult. But for me, not because I'm a Michigan fan, I feel that we'll play anyway. I'll talk about that conversation here in a minute as well. I feel in this year it should have been easier than that because conference champion, right? Georgia. If you think about it, they pretty much won the conference. And then you have Alabama, who wins the game. So you got 3 undefeated teams, 3 undefeated conference champions, correct? Well, you have 4. One of them lost. So naturally, you would think the 3 that lost are automatically your 3 of your top 4, right? 5 conferences. 5 conferences, 4 spots. 3 of them are undefeated. No losses. Played everybody who they played, beat everybody who they beat. Conference champions should be in the Final Four, right? But no, people aren't happy with that because a situation can come up where if one of those win, you got a guy out. Georgia's out, right? Florida State, Georgia's out, correct? Alabama is 8th. No team has come from 7th or 8th spot, 6th, 7th, 8th spot to make, or 7th, 8th spot to make the playoff. No undefeated conference champion has not made the Final Four. Then you have 2 of those things broken down right away. Florida State, conference champion, not in. Alabama, 8th seed, jumps all of these teams to get to the Final Four spot. So you jump, okay, I can give you the idea that Alabama could jump Georgia. I'll give you that. They beat them. So Georgia will fall. But that still doesn't put them mathematically above all of these other teams, especially undefeated Power 5 conference champions. The game is supposed to be played on the field, not in the conference room. So whatever. I mean, Alabama's a good team. They've been playing good ball at the end of the year, but they did not check boxes that you're supposed to check to be in that situation. Florida State checked all the boxes. If this is a fill and play, you know what I mean, fill and play type of sport, next man up mentality, why is it that? Championships are won by winning the game. It doesn't mean that you have to win the game by 62 points. What it means is that you have to win the game, and that's all they did. So you valuing Alabama's last-second Hail Mary, terrible fucking Auburn defense to a very defensive-minded 2 wins for a conference champion. I don't get it. It seems kind of hornswoggle. I felt that for years that ESPN has been jerking the SEC off, making them look like they're the greatest power conference of football conference. Yeah, they've won a couple championships. I grant it. Who won the first one? The Big Ten. Who has the opportunity to win the last one? The Big Ten, Washington, Pac-12 can go. You know what? I love the fact that Michigan's in it, but I would love to stick it to the Pac-12, just on the side note. I would love to stick it to them and see Washington win it as y'all dissolve in the championship. That would be kind of a funny type of thing to see. But obviously, you know where my allegiance lies. But I feel that this voting thing is kind of hornswoggle, and it's not going to improve when they go to the 12 teams next year. It's just going to turn into the 13th and the 14th team not getting in. Well, why they're not going to get in? And back to this SEC being the greatest. So, okay, so they have 4 teams, right, in the finals rankings, right? The Big Ten had 3, Pac-12 had 3, ACC had 2, 3. You know what I mean? So what was the advantage? You know what I mean? They're very top-heavy, like most of the conferences. Probably, if you want to look at it, the best and the deepest conference this year in college football was the Pac-12. At one point in time, they had 7 teams ranked. I mean, not one time here the SEC had 7 teams ranked. You know what I mean? Like, out of conference games, the SEC this year has a losing record to teams outside of the SEC. So where's this dominance? You know what I mean? Just because they match up the games, I wouldn't be surprised. They're looking at cheating scandals. I wouldn't be surprised if TCU got a extra large bonus last year to knock out a team that could have beat Georgia. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Because you got to look at it. They still had some questionable calls in that Georgia-Ohio State game last year. Looks like they're just doing everything they can to keep the SEC in this glorified era that I don't know. Like, I don't even know any of my friends. I don't think anybody on this network likes the SEC team. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. It's just a bad rep. And then you got a lot of guys who, I like what Desmond Howard said about another analyst. I mean, I hate to see people talk about other people in that manner, but he deserves it because he talks bad about, teams that he just naturally does not like. So, so what you got here, John? Said, might as well make it the SEC +3. I get it. You know what I mean? So I just don't understand why they felt that they couldn't have a legitimate national championship without an SEC team. If they didn't qualify, if they didn't make it, they didn't make it. Simple as that. You know what I mean? I feel that they're the best 4 teams. Well, you let it handle it on the field. If they wanted the best 4 teams, then they probably wouldn't have lost one game. 3 teams didn't lose a game, and one of them didn't get in. But that's a harp that I'm just not going to really continue to talk about. But anyway, so that was the controversy that we had over the thing. Most people see Alabama getting huge favoritism. You know what I mean? Nick Saban, whatever. I'm over it. But anyway, it's bowl season. For the most part, bowl games start December 16th, so that's next Saturday. So you start to see a lot of those 6-6 teams, and obviously, Dan will tell you, none of us are fans of 500 teams being bowl eligible. You know what I mean? And that's probably why we have the crap that we have with the championship now. You got too much worried about these bowl games and how they generate money. I mean, there's ways that you can incorporate these bowl games where you can still make money. How about this? How about make some of these bowl games regular season games? You can do that. You can make some of these bowl regular season games, because unless you have a true seeding of a tournament, then you won't ever get this. When you got people voting to where they go, excuse me, it's not going to work. It's going to have to be played on the field. Period. I mean, you got to get better criteria, you know what I mean, how you determine. Take out these voters and let it have it on the field. These are your top 12 teams by record or by the poll, you know what I mean, by the vote, you know what I mean, by record or something of that. I mean, obviously you're going to have to, because somehow you're going to have the human vote in there or the human perspective because of the polls. But at some point in time, you got to play it out on the court or on the field. You know what I mean? Because they have polls in basketball, but when it comes to the tournament, it's still these 64 teams seeded, and you play the games out. If these are the top 12 teams, seed them and play the season out. What you got here? What's worse, a bowl game with two 500 crappy teams are waiting for a full month between this week and national title game. That is correct. That is correct. And bowl games are supposed to be played. It's supposed to be a reward. I don't feel like it's a reward playing a bowl game in Yankee Stadium on January 1st. Not a reward to me. That seems like punishment for not being in one of the warm bowls. That's just my preference. All right, so bowl games start then. Let's see, what do we have here? This is the matchup that we was talking about earlier. Before I talk about that, what was that last note that I have? The transfer portal. The transfer portal is blowing up for here, I'll just take it off and I'll come back to it. The transfer portal is blowing up right now. Like, I think there's, in the last 4 days, like 12 quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks, are hitting the transfer portal. Ohio State's starting quarterback, his first year didn't have a bad season. 10-2, or no, what was it? 12-1, 11-1. It's a good year. Transfer portal. But I think who got hit the most with the transfer was Ohio State. I think they had 8 players hit the transfer portal. So it looks like there's a dumpster fire or the rats jumping off shit going on in Ohio State. So I wonder how that's going to play out in recruitment when you got all these guys trying to escape. And I wonder what's going to happen with the mystique over the program with all these people trying to escape. I know there's a couple quarterbacks out there. UCLA's quarterback, Miami's quarterback, Oregon State, DJ Uiagalelei, he's out. Well, not out. He's transferring. There's a couple cats transferring. So keep an eye on the transfer portal and see what's going on. You know, it's a good way for teams to come up now. If you look at what Deion did, come up on the transfer portal. Be honest with you, if you look at what Harbaugh's done over the last 3 years, he's hit the portal pretty good, especially with older offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and something like that. So transfer portal is helping out some of these programs right now. So keep it on your transfer portal. So we'll jump this back on here. So here's your matchup. Was it the Rose Bowl? You have Michigan and Alabama. I think this is Alabama's first ever Rose Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, outside of the CFP. I could be wrong on that, but I think it is. Obviously, Michigan is familiar with the Rose Bowl, being that it was traditionally a game played between the Big Ten winner and the Pac-12 winner. So you have Michigan going in. They haven't been to the Rose Bowl since that they played in the Rose Bowl since 2006. No, 2014 was the last time we played in it. I don't think we've won it since 2006. So some tradition going on here. Last chance that it's a traditional Rose Bowl. Not even traditional, but a nice chance for one of the two traditional Rose Bowl teams to be in it. So some plays in the significance there. Talking about this Michigan-Alabama game, a lot of people are talking about, the reaction that Michigan had in their watch party, so to speak, Sunday with the selection show as Alabama for. Let me tell you something. Let me shed a little light on a couple things. One, that game, the Big Ten championship game was played at 8 p.m. here in Indianapolis. 3-hour game. That is 11 o'clock, 11:30-ish type time for that game to be over. So then you have celebration, trophies, interviews, press conference, leaving the arena, getting back to end up. I don't think they went back. They were in the hotel. They were in a hotel watch party. So down here in Indianapolis. So I'm assuming a lot of these cats didn't get to sleep till probably late, early morning. Woken up earlier than normal to sit into a conference room after just playing a physical game. Physical game because I was a physical football team. Defense, it hurts. Plays football. And you didn't get the reaction that you thought that someone should be reacting for. The reaction to me is there was a room full of exhausted young men trying to figure out if they were the number one seed. Because you saw when they had the number one seed, they were excited. And at that point, it goes into, all right, who do we play? Let's start working on who we play. I don't think Michigan's scared of Alabama whatsoever. I think that they are mentally getting ready. If you listen to some of the interviews given after that, Blake Corum, J.J. McCarthy, these guys are focused on one thing, and that's winning the national championship. It didn't matter if Florida State was in there, if Texas was in there, if Alabama was in there. I thought you was going to get the same exact reaction. Yep. And I know people don't pay a whole lot of attention to the numbers, the Vegas numbers and things like that, but you have to, because they see things that most people don't, and they calculate things that most people don't. This is the great SEC. This is the great Alabama. The line on this is still Michigan. I'm going to leave that there. So, but I'm not going to dwell on that. We have 4 weeks. We have a month into the national championship, semifinals, and all that stuff. So as we go along, we can talk more about it. I might be able to get some people on here. We can break down these matchups between all these teams. You got Washington and Texas on the other side. This matchup is exciting because both of these teams are leaving their respective conferences, going to a new conference. So it would be awesome for these teams to take championships banners away from those conferences and take with them. So Washington leaving the Pac-12. They've had rough and tumble games all year. They are the team that played the most ranked teams in the season. Very strong offensive. Weak a little bit on the defense, but they always seem to make the right defensive plays. Texas, they took the one step back to Oklahoma in the Red River. Didn't look too good in that particular game, but they've showed a lot of grit coming over a couple of key injuries to key positions. And then they look good every time they go in. And plus they go into Tuscaloosa and win in Alabama. I don't care if it was week 3 or week 13. You go into an SEC team on the road in their place, and this is the great Alabama, and you go in there and you beat them. Not you beat them, you beat them by double digits. So I think they got their spot in. Georgia fell to 6. I love that OSU's is not up here at all. It makes me extremely excited not to see them all up here in this conversation. So now the next question is that we'll have going further into all these bowl games coming up, which key players or which NFL prospects are going to forfeit these bowl games. I heard something dumb. I heard that Governor Santos, the idiot over in Florida, I heard he was begging his people, his constituents, the budget for $1 million for Florida State to sue the CFP. Okay, now we're getting a little ridiculous. That seems like a whole lot of waste of money. I feel that you could be asking for that budget money to maybe feed a little homeless, maybe build some shelters for your immigrants that you're having a problem with. I feel that having a lawsuit on a college football playoff selection seems a little bit petty and a little bit wasteful for taxpayers' money. That is my political stance for the day, and I will keep it moving. All right, so that takes care of that. So that brings us to our college games of the week. They're like college games of the week. What games do they have? But we actually do have a game of the week. I was going to dig into the 2A, AA, or the double 2A, because, they have a playoff, and this seems to work very well for them. So I know they're having games, the North Dakotas and states and all those type of people. I was going to dig into those, but I'll try. I will not. But we do have a game that is very significant to some people, and these men have a greater calling other than football, and that is our game. And that will be our Doc Sports, BW Sports Network, NCAA Picks of the Week, brought to you by Doc Sports Picks. Text BW Sports to 29022 for your free $60 of picks. And once you do that, go get them picks. Go put them on mybookie.ag and get your money. You know what I'm saying? Get that money. Or if you're not really sure who you want to pick, go check out our man Rafael Esparza over at You Can Bet That to get all of the details that you would love to have when you are making an educated bet. And my betting tip of the day, don't chase your losses. All right, so our game of the week is the Army-Navy game. It's the last game of the season for both of these programs. It's always more than wins and losses with these guys. These guys might compete against each other on different stages of collegiate sports, but when these guys are done with their 4 years of their academies, they go on to a better and greater cause than just playing sports. They go out to do things to protect our land, our freedoms, and our choices to make as Americans. So I like to give my, thanks and appreciation for all of these young men and the young men that come before them who feel like, football is secondary and fighting for their country and protecting their country is primary. So Army-Navy, let's see, both of these teams are 5-6. Army has the line on this one, 2.5, and the over-under is 27.5. You guys like my little, you know what? Let's see, we're doing the picks. Let's switch up the scene. Bow! There we go. So we got Army-Navy here. And let's see. And, these games are always fun to watch. The cadets, in the stands and all of their dress blues and their military I forgot what they used to what they call them, and all the good stuff. So it's great to see them, have all the traditions. And then at the end, they all stand together, and sing the national anthem. It's awesome. It's an awesome sight to see. So actually, I will be watching this game. What you got? name is always awesome. Noblesville has a kid, basketball that has Air Force in the mix of offers huge opportunity. That is. I mean, it really is. Let's see. Let's see what the people pick, what our folks got. Let's see here. Pretty split. I'm going Navy because the Marines is a branch of the Navy. My late stepfather was a Marine, and I know quite a few Marines. As I know quite a few other branches of the military, but I have more of a connection with the Marines. So I'm going Navy. I also have Tommy and Timothy going with me on that. I did that all wrong. So switch these picks. All these guys over here to say Navy, you're going Army. All of these guys over here to say Army, you're going Navy. I screwed that all up. But I have them all right on the other checker thingy, wingy. So that takes us there. So now we jump over into NFL talk. Let's see what's popping in the NFL. Ooh, I got something else for you. Oh, I forgot a couple things. So let's back this bus up. I need to show you. This is our leaderboard status right now for our picks. I am still holding steady at the top. This week was a good week for everybody. Mostly everybody got either 7 or 6 out of the 8 games. So that's pretty good picking for my fellas. So there. So when we do our picks and you see what we got, match them up with what you got and see how you do when it comes to those things. So what is up on my notes? The Elite Performance Performer. Brought to you by Elite Performance, where the dream elite fitness becomes reality. Call Zach over 765-499-1005 and start your journey to be elite today. The phone call is your first acknowledgement of your elite fitness goal. So let's see, who is it for me? I'm going with the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love with the win over KC this past week. What a performance. Jordan Love his progress seems to be doing just fine. Green Bay seems to have the next one in line after Brett and after Aaron. You see him making all the throws. You see the team following his lead. Oh, man, this Green Bay team is starting to look good, and the defense is playing like the defense that most of us expected them to look like earlier in the season. So that is that for me, and especially Kansas City was in a position to put themselves clearly at the top of the AFC. So this was a pretty big game for Green Bay to hold serve at home. Great win. So that is my Elite Performance Performer of the Week, brought to you by Elite Performance. All right, so now that takes us into NFL. So we'll go back small. NFL, what is my NFL jargon? All right, so first off, we'll talk about so what, that Matt Canada got fired. Offense still stinks. Even before Pickett went out with the ankle issue, he had surgery. We won't see him for at least 4 weeks. So is Mitchell Trubisky. I just hope TJ Watt can just put him in opportunities that he can't screw up. No, just give the ball to Warren. Occasionally we'll let you throw the ball, but Lord have mercy. I'll talk about that another day. I'm just devastated. But it's sitting at 7-5. We still have an opportunity to finish above 500, and we're still in the mix for that the playoff spot, the wild card spot, along with Indianapolis Colts, who looked extremely well over the last few weeks. got a nice win in overtime. Did the Colts win? Yeah, the Colts won. Yeah. It was my team that didn't win. Yeah, they won because they kicked the field goal. I don't even remember. But anyway, they're all competing for that wild card spot. Let's see here. See what you had. The San Francisco player and the head of security of the Philadelphia Eagles get ejected from the game. Weird. Yeah, the Colts won. I thought so. Yes, 2 block punts. Yes. So I thought it was weird that the head of security was even in the altercation. Your job is security, you're not supposed to touch the player. You touch the player touched you back. And, seems like I guess all is fair. War and hate. I thought it was kind of ridiculous, weird call, but hey, what it does, obviously didn't affect San Francisco. Sorry, Dan, that had to be said. Let's see. Speaking of San Francisco in the Philly game, boy, what an ass whooping that Philly took. Ooh, they've been winning on shoestrings the last couple weeks with these come from behind victories that they've had to do. I think they've been down. Someone said in our feed that they have been down double digits, at least 10 points every game over the last couple games at halftime. They've had to come back. Oh, I pinched my finger. They had to come back and win. So it looks like they were skating on thin ice, and the ice just broke when this red hot San Francisco team, after losing 3 straight and then getting all their pieces back, Trip Williams, Debo, Purdy's healthy. So you can look at what's going on. San Francisco has reestablished themselves as the top team in the NFC and probably the top team in the NFL if you look at it right now. So I didn't expect that to be look that way. I picked San Francisco to win, but I didn't think it was going to look that bad. But that kind of gives Dallas hope that they might be able to actually get a win against Philly this upcoming week. But the fact that it's another opportunity for Dallas to play one of the big guys. Dallas has looked well the last couple weeks. Dak has looked well the last couple weeks. But the downside is they have not beat one of those upper teams in the NFC. The Seahawks win over the weekend was a good win. They were the first 500 win for Dallas, but it's not Detroit. It's not San Francisco, and it's not Philly. So you have an opportunity this upcoming week to take care of that stigma with the game against Philly, and you have it at home. Side note, Tommy Boy said in our feed today that Mike McCarthy was having an appendicitis, an ambidectomy which is the surgery for the appendicitis. So from what we're hearing is that he's still planning on coaching, but I guess he might be from the booth. First thought, you're like, why, bro? But then you think about it, he's only coaching. So it's not like he's going to be doing things that could do something with the surgical sutures. So I see that he could do it. I doubt that he'd be on the field because of the activity of players going on and off the field in active plays. But I do think that I could see him coaching that game and up in the booth. I do think that if he doesn't coach, it could be an opportunity for Dallas to open up a little bit more of their playbook. They seem to be very mundane at the moment, but you're playing an 500 team, so we'll see how that goes. We talked about the Chiefs take that loss. Talked about Jordan Love. We talked about the Colts. So put up this. Here are our. Well, here's the Week 14 power rankings. San Francisco has positioned himself back up at the top. Philadelphia comes in the second. Miami is surging back up, who now is actually sitting at the top of the AFC with the Kansas City loss. Right on their heels is the Baltimore Ravens. As you see down a little further, Jacksonville had an opportunity to move up, but the Trevor Lawrence injury, I think his x-rays were negative, just a sprained ankle. So Jacksonville Dodgers won there, but they had a golden opportunity to stay with that conversation with Miami and Baltimore. Now they're locked with Kansas City, who is sitting at 7th. Detroit still kind of lurking, as well as Dallas sitting at 9-3. Buffalo jumps back in. I didn't put the record up for some reason. And the Houston Texans have joined that conversation in the top 10 of the power rankings, and also that wild card position in the AFC. Yep, got to beat the 49ers. They are such a deep team. 49ers Dolphins in the Super Bowl would be a fun matchup to watch. I do agree, but I'm not really sure that they play enough defense to get there. Miami has an issue with teams that play defense. They can score, but the teams that they play actually score too, but their defense helps them. So we'll see how that goes with Miami. So there are your Week 14 power rankings. Come back here, mouse. There you go. So there you have that. So now it is time to wrap this thing up. So we're going to give you our NFL games of the week. So obviously this week is going to be a little more NFL heavy in our picks due to the fact that there's not a lot of college games going on. So, but next week we'll actually put the bowl games on. Some of our picks as they start actually next Saturday on the 16th. So here we go with our Doc Sports Pick NFL picks of the week. Once again, is brought to you by Doc Sports. Text BW Sports 2290022 for your free cash and select your picks. So we move into our games for the week. I had some fun with my slides this week, so I changed up to give it a little bit more pizzazz. So first game's up, we got the Colts traveling to Cincinnati. Colts at 75, Cincinnati at 5-6. Both teams have lost their starting quarterbacks pretty much for the year. Cincinnati and Joe Burrow. The Colts and Anthony Edwards. Yes, so but Gardner Minshew has been playing out of his mind. He is on the longest streak of his career. I don't want to say quarterback controversy, but he keeps playing like this, and you're probably going to have one. But no, I'm not going to say that. He has been managing games well, but as you can see in certain times in the game that he is not a starting quarterback. So they're filling in very well. Cincinnati did get some people back from injury. What is it, the line on this game? Indy at 1. The over-under is 43.5. Poor thing. Just make her some soup. Let's see what I say. Oh, I gave you all the lines. So let's see what we got. Let's see, Dan and the Source chose Cincinnati, and isn't that a darling steed right there? The rest of us went with the Colts. So there you have with those picks there. What is this? Didn't see that Rutgers game. I'll catch you back on the other thing. Let's see, what was the next game? Next game up. Next game up is Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns, another team that's lost their starting quarterback for the season, but the backup is playing pretty well. But the strength of this team is on their defense, with led by the charge of Myles Garrett. With the ankle injury to Trevor Lawrence, I'm not really sure if he's going to play or not. But even if he was, he's not going to be very healthy, and you don't want to be less than 100% when you got Myles Garrett coming for you. So as good as Jacksonville's been playing, I am going to have to go the other way on this. I'm going to go with Cleveland along with the Lion. Everybody else, led by Tommy, is going with Jacksonville. You like these cool things I found? I'll be searching the internet for cool stuff. Can't just give you the plain old Cleveland and Jacksonville. I gotta give it some pizzazz. Look at it. He just look like he's having a good old time. Weirdo. Me. All right, next game up, we got the Buffalo Bills traveling the plains to go play the Kansas City Chiefs. Another good game, another big game in the AFC. Kansas City is trying to get into their late season push that they normally get into every season. It propels them into the playoffs, trying to fix some ailments that they have with that defense, and not the defense, because their more problems are on the offense. Trying to shore up some things, get some people to catch the ball. Like Patrick Mahomes throws you the ball, and 90% of the time it hits you in their hands. You got to catch the ball. But this game is much more significant for Buffalo as you're trying to stay in that conversation. Like, we keep having this conversation, can the Bills win with Josh Allen? We don't know. That's the thing they keep saying. They before it was when, as now it's if. So this is a pretty big game for them as in Buffalo. And this is one of the games I picked late, but I went ahead and rolled with the Chiefs. Tim is the lone rebel who went with the Buffalo. Well-known fact, there are no buffalo in North America. They're bison. Knowledge is power. Well, I guess you could say, because they'll probably have one in the zoo. But anyway, here's the game of the week. You got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. This is a cool picture. You got a dog, you got a cowboy, and you got the field. That doesn't look like Texas, though. That looks more Wyoming-ish, maybe. Not quite sure. But we talked about this game earlier. Significant for the Cowboys. This is a game that you have to win to get over that hump. If not, the conversation about Dak is still going to be had. Von Miller going to play out of his mind after a rough week. Hell yeah, Von Miller had a rough week. Yes, he did have a rough week. His week was mighty rough. Most of us will probably have not survived a week like that. But I have not dug much deeper into that. So, what he said looks like Kevin Costner in Yellowstone. I've seen like 40-second no. When I was on my trip out to Pullman, Washington, out to Washington State, I think one of my nights I was in Montana, Billings, Montana, and I actually watched an episode of Yellowstone. That's a pretty put together show. You know what I mean? If I had time to actually watch it, going through all the sports that I watch and all the cooking shows that I watch, it's kind of hard to find time for Yellowstone. You know what I mean? My free time with those other ones is normally filled with the game show. Maybe some home improvement on HGTV. Yeah, I'm an old dude. It's happened. I've turned old. Sorry. My bad. But you probably want me to figure out who's going to win this game. I'm going with the Eagles. I do recognize the fact that Dak has been playing well, but they had a golden opportunity to show up a very good player to help their depth, but the Eagles got him. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to go with the Eagles. What do you say now, Jonathan? It makes you want to go buy a puffy jacket and a cowboy hat and drink coffee. Well, I already drink coffee. I've been trying to get a puffy vest for like 3 years, but every time I feel that I'm being ignored. And if I had a pair of good boots, there's a chance that you might get me in the hat. Probably not, but you had a chance. Fun fact, I saw my dad in the cowboy hat earlier today on Facebook, and it tickled me. And I was like, oh, man, it looks pretty good in the hat. Now I want me a Stetson. But anyway, again, I'm rambling on. Thanks, John. Thanks. Appreciate it. Where you go? As you know, the usual suspects go with their usual teams. Dan the Lion goes with the Eagles, and Tommy and the Source go with the Cowboys. Let's see. Who is up next? We got the guys, this next slide is going to be cool as shit. But you have the Buccaneers going into the Falcons. This is a NFC leading game. I think it's either going to turn out tied or right. This is a big game. The Falcons can take control of this. If I'm looking at the record screen, the Falcons can take control of the NFC South, or the Buccaneers can pull tie with the NFC South, with the Falcons in the NFC South. Atlanta has the 1.5, and the over/under is 39.5 in this particular game. Oh, by the way, Dallas has the line in their game against the Eagles, 3.5. Over/under is 51.5. But for this game, let's go with. I think I'm gonna go with the Pirates. Isn't that cool? That's cool. I went through like a whole bunch of different shapes. I needed to look like almost Ghost Pirate, but that's cool. I would definitely have a pirate ship if I had that kind of money. My yacht would resemble a pirate ship, 100%, and I would live in a castle with a moat and a drawbridge with sharks with freaking lasers on their heads. You'll get that later. But here's our picks. Let's see. And that was the last game. Last games of our picks. So, make sure you match up your picks to our picks to see how you do against us here at the network. So, what do we have left? Oh, we have The Beast Within. Oh, Dan's going to love this one. The Beast Within, brought to you by Inner Beast Sportswear. Check out the new local designs and announcements over at BWSPORTS1.com. So this is a section where somebody unleashes their inner beast to make historic or memorable moments. So I went with Kyle Shanahan, coach of the San Francisco 49ers, with that masterpiece he coached against the Philadelphia Eagles this last week. So, that was my Beast Within. He's going to have to give me a button. So I can hit a button, and then it makes sound. So that'll be cool. Enough of me rambling on. It's almost 8 o'clock, and there's games coming on, and I have to watch them. What is this? Great show. Thank you, Mr. Buzzer, and all of your buzz-worthy wisdom. Mac is doing very well out on the West Coast. It is finals week. She'll be home next week. So that will be great to see. All right, so there you have it. What do I have left? Do not have a ones up. So I guess I need to tell you about my friends and the friends of the network. and they are Elite Performance, Checkered Life Customs. You can bet that. Dog Sports Picks, My Bookie, The Fighter's Friend, TheOne's Kitchen, Interbee Sportswear, Southern Indiana Combat Productions. So we got some fights coming up. Nope, not until March. Is it March? Or is it May? I think it's May. Check out the website. They have all that stuff for you. Deals, discount store, and more. Check them out over in Mooresville. Find some great deals. Follow the Facebook page. You can get all those deals immediately. Let's see, and then that takes us to the shows in the network. Make sure you check out all of my buddies and their shows and their times. You can find out all that information on the website, and you can hop over to our YouTube channel to check all of our shows that have been previously recorded. Dukes of Football, Checkers of Records, Super Kicking It, State of Basketball. I'm going to start doing some little excerpts for that here coming up. We have the tournament, the in-season tournament going on. I got some thoughts on that, and I got some conversation for the start of both college and NBA basketball. Obviously, I got want to dive in, not really so much dive in. I want to chit-chat about this Josh Giddey situation down in Oklahoma City. And how that relates to normal people's world. Combat Zone, Dan does a great job interviewing fighters. You can catch a lot of those over on the YouTube page when he kicks those off live. Just a bit outside, our baseball guys, you'll see them. I'm pretty sure you'll probably see them in a couple of weeks just after the turn of the year when all those owners meetings starts up. So they'll be on to that. Go Blue all day. All day, go Blue. And then I guess I don't have to tell you it's new anymore, but the puck drops here. Check out the source over there giving you all of the news and the updated stuff on the NHL. So there you have it for the Dukes of Football Season 5, Episode 14 on Wednesday, December 6, 2023. Hope all you guys have a wonderful week. Hope all of your football picks and all of your teams do well. I hope that you have a successful week, and I will see you here next Wednesday for more football chatter. This is the Dukes of Football, a BW Sports 1 production, and the Pume Pume girl is gone, so I have to pume it myself. Pume, 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 pume. Yeah, that's terrible. I'm not very good at it. So I'm going to have to hit the